Hey, Shalom Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel, brother, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Brothers have literally been talking about this pretty much all day. Brother sent it. I want to say, did he send it this morning or last night? I think it was last night that I got whiff of it, and I wanted to harp on it. But I know other brothers harped on this topic as well because I mean it is very relevant. And you know, us here at Great Millstone, we I don't want to say pride because pride. I mean, you know, you have pride is not necessarily a positive thing, but you can have pride in good ways, meaning in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and we take pride in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for us as declaring us his prophets, his men. And the result of it is we seeing these things come to pass. Now it says mandatory digital ID introduced to the UK, another step closer to the mark of the beast, which in my humble opinion, I feel like they just need to go ahead and just pass the chip because this is what they call gradualism, okay? When they're gradually integrating particular draconian methods into society, you know, and they would take away freedoms based on, you know, draconianism, you know, totalitarianism, which is where we're heading. And you notice before America gets anything, they had to test. They tested in China, you know, there's different Asian countries, African countries, and then eventually it goes to the European countries and UK, and then spiritual because America is the successor of Great Britain. But once it's mandated in the UK, you better believe without a doubt that thing will be mandated here. So we can very well see the mandatory digital ID, like literally within a couple of months or within a year or so, man. Because see, you have different forms of digital ID. You have shit that you can upload on your smartphone. But see, the Esau, he'll get a little, you know, because he's the devil, he'll get a little bit more crafty because you can have a picture of an ID, a physical hard copy, which is essentially the same thing as if I uploaded it on the phone, but a digital version with biometrics, etc. So he would get technical and say, well, you know, you have to upload it on your phone. But why the fuck do I need to do that when I have the physical hard copy right here that has the same exact information on the digital mark, man? All right, because ultimately it's his goal to microchip the entire planet Earth. Okay, so it says here, you will not be able to work in the UK if you don't have the digital ID. Starmer, I believe he was like a prime minister, if I'm not mistaken. But it says, and Starmer ended his speech with the announcement about digital ID cards. Today, I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory. And since when does the government give anything free? Okay, see, we're in them times, man. And hey, like the Apostle Tahar say, GMS always had it right, brothers. When this thing come to pass, because a digital ID could mean good chip, okay? Because I was watching Richie from Boston and a couple of other guys that bring out this information, and they label it under the skin surveillance, okay, which is a digital mark, the chip. So when this comes to pass, all you Israelites out there, you gonna be stuck in limbo, man, because part of you gonna be conflicted. Well, the apostles of Great Millstone said not to take it because it's the chip, but my leader said that it's sin. So what do I do? So if you window shopping now, hey, you better go ahead and pull the wallet out and you better buy what you need to buy, because sooner than later you ain't gonna be able to window shop, because this shit is getting ready to be like turned up to a whole nother level. And they're getting ready to cut these videos. They're getting ready to do away with all types of free speech, and anybody that speak out against this system, they're getting ready to chop it in half, man. So you better get this information while you can. Like I went into the video earlier, being built up, man. You gotta be rooted in your Howard shot, man. Okay? But it says here, for the right to work by the end of this parliament, which parliament is just like another way of saying Congress. It says, but let me spell that out. You would not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. So we knew they was going to use this whole immigration policy, this border crisis nonsense. We knew that they was going to use the tenets of migrants and they're letting people over here, quote unquote, illegally across the border. We knew they was going to use that in order to bring about this chip, man. Also an economic collapse, because it's multi-dimensional. Okay, it's more than just tracking everything. It has to do with the money. It has to do with the economy. It has to deal with everything. It's basically a walking, talking digital social security number. And that's basically what it is, essentially. All right. And that will be the new culprit of today's world. And most people are going to opt and take it because they don't have a choice but to, because they've put their trust and they put their understanding into the tenets of this world. You see what I'm saying? So they're not gonna I mean, yeah, you have some resistance on the back end of it. You have some resistance, but for the most part, most people, they may resist for a minute, and then when they realize that rent is due, and they realize that phone bill is due, and they got to put food in their baby mouths, hey, you better believe people gonna say, you know what, they're gonna roll up that sleeve, go ahead and give it to me. And a lot of you Israelites, man, you gonna take that on a low, man. Okay? So let me bring out a precept real quick. I got a lot of precepts come to mind, but I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Let's go here. What is this? Romans 13. Matter of fact, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna get Matthew 6, because this is what Yahweh Shai said. All right, this is the book of Matthew 6, and I'm gonna start at verses 8. And it says here, matter of fact, let's start at verses 9. It says, and after this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, holy be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it be in heaven. Give us bread, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not in temptation. All right, and that's the point. Okay, temptation, because the Lord said he would keep us from the hour of temptation. Me personally, I say this prayer every morning. If I don't say no other prayers, I make it a habit to say the prayer of the Lord, because this prayer pretty much covers everything. It covers temptation, it covers faith, sins, it covers a variety of things when it comes to this truth, man. So say this prayer, man. Okay, it says, it says here, lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. This is an evil, wicked, satanic world, man. Okay, want to put something in somebody just to be able to watch them like guinea pigs. And it says, for thy kingdom come, and thy power and glory forever. Amen. All right, so you have to be in the spirit of praying to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, because it tells us here in the book of Romans 13, it's going to get real soon, brothers, man. We ain't going to be looking like we finna have a place of employment anytime in a little while. So, anyway, Romans 13, and I'm going to start at verses, hold on, give me a second. Yeah, this is the book of Romans 13, and I'm going to start at verses 11, and it says here, and that knowing that the time that it is now high time to wake up out of sleep, it says, for now is our salvation nearer than what we believed, all right? So you got to wake the hell up, man. You other Israelite camps, man, you talking about blitzing Christian churches and gang banging and, you know, and get those G's up and likes up, man, and, you know, we got to bang on Esau and how to wrap a head wrap, and I'm living. Y'all not gonna be built. I guarantee y'all, when this shit come, seeing the Lord is cold, man. He gives people over to their delusions, so it's gonna be more than just not taking it. The Lord's gonna put it on your spirit to take it, because he's gonna put you in certain predicaments that hit you the hardest, man. Okay, like the scripture say, your sins will find you out. The Lord gonna hit you, Jakes, exactly where you don't need to be hit, and you gonna tap out, man. Okay, the Lord gonna give you that kidney shot and that liver shot, and you going down for the count. You know, you gonna time out. Nah, bruh. All right. And it says here, for our salvation is nearer than what we believe. We getting ready to get the hell up out of here. This world is getting ready to change like overnight, man. You know, same thing with the Icky Vicky back in 2000. Hey, 2020, that thing came literally overnight, and bam, the world was at a different place in a matter of hours. So how much more it is, because I was looking at a video when they're talking about they're getting ready to switch the roll-off line, and they're getting ready to you know, put everything back on with this new system, and this is going to be a part of it. All right. It says, the night is far spent and the day is at hand, but let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. Let us put on the armor of light. Okay. And that's this truth, this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding. It says, let us walk honestly as in a day, and not in rioting or drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but putting on the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. All right. And a lot of you are going to opt into this chip and sell out, because you're going to make provisions for the flesh, because you're not built up in the spirit. Okay, you people don't know what it's like to operate without not having a job, you know. Like when Odell came back in 2020, shit, man, I was willing to walk away from my job, because I already knew the type of time it was on. I was ready. I'm like, man, fuck it. I got faith in the Lord. And the Lord's so cold, bro. He had me to dodge bullets. Like, literally, they wanted me to do that PCR bullshit. And I vow, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, well, you could do it yourself. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And they wanted to call us into the office, but the Lord had my work truck to break down on the side of the road, like at lunchtime, because I got off like around 3:30, 3 o'clock that day, and nobody was able to come out there and help me. So, you know, I didn't get a tow till like damn at 2:30, and by the time it was time to fucking go home, and then after that, I just kind of fell through the cracks, you know, and they stopped mandating it and all this other stuff because, you know, we had to do snow removal in the wintertime, and they was basically stating that, well, if you riding with somebody, you got to have a mask on, and, you know, which, you know, we did the mask shit. I'm like, fuck it, I'll put the mask on, whatever, you know, to not add attention to yourself, but I took it off. But basically, they wanted you to get that PCR joint, you know, if you're going to ride with somebody to test, and they made a big deal out of it, and nothing came of it. It was all a psyop to see how people was going to comply, and a lot of Israelites took that ordeal, and they ended up in the upper room, man. All right, I was looking at the statistics, 300% in turbo cancers. Okay, 20 million people succumb to those injuries. 300% injury, Maxine water injuries. You know, that retard. You know, so it's how about Shimi, how was shy, man? He's not playing. And I pray we passed the first test. That was like the pre-test. That was like the practice test. This is getting ready to be the real test, because this is gonna be a matter of life and death. Okay, whether you make it to the kingdom on this side or not. And we got to be willing to put it all in. So you got to get in that spirit like, look, man, I don't give a damn. I'm ready to. It's like you in that 12th round and you fighting, even if, you know, to try to not get knocked out. You know, you're going to catch some of them, but you trying your best to survive those 12 rounds, man. And hopefully you win on a decision card, because this double, he's going for the knockout, man. All right, he's going to throw shit at us. It's going to get tricky. It's going to get sticky. He's going to try to hit you in the midst of the inconvenience, you know. It's just going to be crazy confusion. But anyway, this is the book of Revelation 3, and I'm going to start at 10, and it says here. Yeah, it was in there. Yeah, it was in there, yeah. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So we all going to go through it, man. Okay, temptation. Now, going to the word temptation, and this is why we push it, because it says you keep the word of my patience. It goes into paramos, which means an experiment. Ooh, okay, experiment. This isn't, remember the first ordeal, this is an experimental ordeal. Remember? Attempt, trial, proving. Trial made of you by my bodily condition. Since conditions serve to test the love of the Galatians, a trial of men's fidelity, which fidelity goes to faith, and integrity, virtue, consistency, and enticement to sin. And this is the ultimate form of adultery, which is the ultimate sin. Temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances, an internal temptation to sin. Okay, the temptation which was the devil sought to divert Yahushai from his divine errand of condition of things or a mental state by which we are enticed to sin. That chip is going to entice you because it's going to have your whole livelihood on that. Okay, everything is going to be on its RFID chip, and your whole life is going to depend on it. All right, and it says here, in which we entice to sin or lapse from the faith of holiness, adversity, affliction, trouble, sent by the Most High to serve as a test to prove one's character, faith, and holiness. In other words, they gon' throw the kitchen sink at us, man. You know, they gonna throw all talk. Well, we gonna take your family. You ain't gonna be able to eat. Blah 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 blah. Look, man, we don't give a damn about none of that. All right, let's get this show on the road, man. All right, and it's the same word here in Matthew the 6th chapter. Same word. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, late. At all, you late, ain't you? How you gonna say that? Anyway, the same word here in Matthew the 6th chapter. Same words here in Matthew the 6th chapter. Salakia, I'm at work. I'm outside, so people are walking past. But anyway, where we at? Hebrews. Yep, I got what I need to get. So yeah, let's get this last precept and I'm gonna play the video and then we'll end it. But this is the book of 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm gonna start at verses 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they should take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered to idols. And they that consent unto them should be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot." Okay, underfoot, because this thing is going to get physical. It says, "For that should be in every place and in the next city great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, and they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Most High." But it says they should feed you with things being offered to idols, man, and that's the ultimate MOTB. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, who as will you will edify to the next lesson. Shalom.
For too many years, it's been too easy for people to come here, slip into the shadow economy, and remain here illegally. Because, frankly, we've been squeamish about saying things that are clearly true. It's not just that it's not compassionate left-wing politics to rely on labour that exploits foreign workers and undercuts fair wages, but the simple fact that every nation needs to have control over its borders. We do need to know who is in our country. Our immigration system does need to be fair if we want to maintain that binding contract that our politics is built on. Otherwise, it undermines trust, undermines people's faith that we're on their side, and their belief that the state can and will work for them. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work.
How you doing?
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work. And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Oh, one more thing. I looked up the difference between real ID and digital ID, and it says, just to get insight on it, because a lot of people confuse this thing, which this is also a step closer to, because they want to mandate this if you want to get on a plane. Now, if you have this, you're not going off because, it's just essentially an ID, but this is a step in that direction. It says, no, a physical real ID is not a digital ID. It says it's a physical driver's license or identification card that meets federal security standards. However, digital IDs or a mobile driver's license, MDLs, are digital versions of these cards that can be stored on a smartphone. Okay, so a digital ID driver's license is the electronic version of a physical driver's license. It is stored on a mobile device like a smartphone. Kind of what I was going into earlier. Okay. So, anyway, that's it. Shalom.